What's going on, homies? It is Saturday, September 20th. Amy and I's 23rd wedding anniversary is coming up pretty soon. Sunday, tomorrow. Tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to do. We'll figure something out. It's been pretty cool to be married that long. Honestly, I love her. She's great. But while I was out here doing yard work today, I was thinking about all the crap that's gone on over the last 2 weeks, and especially the Charlie Kirk thing. And I was reminded of a conversation I had with a colleague of mine, and he was confused as to why I kind of lean libertarian. I lean libertarian just for clarification in those areas where I can get away with it. But my first priority is to the teachings of the Catholic Church. But he said to me, my colleague, he said, it's important that we fight for these things in the law because the law is a great teacher. I just think like we're beyond that, man. Like the teacher's gone batshit crazy, and so the best thing you could hope for is for him to just stay out of your life. And so I lean libertarian. I'm not ashamed to say that, and I don't really have a home in either of the two stupid parties that we have in the United States, and both of them are stupid. It's freaking ridiculous, and how much people just like adhere to it. It kind of blows my mind. You know what I mean? Especially though from like my liberal friends who are, they pride themselves on being free thinkers, and it's like, I don't know, dude. Do you really think that free? They'll say, well, you're brainwashed by religion. You're brainwashed by your TV set, which is worse. It's not like I came to religion just because I wanted to be led around. I'm convinced by the person of Jesus Christ, and so I don't really have to keep looking at all the other religions. But I did. I looked at all the world religions, all the major ones anyway. I don't have time in my life to look at every single one of them. And they all have kind of conflicting claims anyway. So if one of them's true, then it's true. And if it's true, then, and the other ones where they diverge, that means they can't be true. Catholic Church teaches this. People get confused by that sometimes, but I think it makes pretty good sense. It's, there's truth in other religions, but the Catholic faith is the fullness of truth, and I believe that. And I didn't just decide that one day. I studied for years. It took me a long time to come into the church. But when I got up this morning, I was looking at it was like a compilation of all these. I don't use TikTok, but it was a compilation of all these TikTok videos that got strung together. And it was a bunch of college kids with nose rings and shit talking about how they were happy that Charlie Kirk is dead. And this video was like an hour long, dude. I could only make it through the first 5 minutes. And I'm like horrified, disgusted. Is there that many kids out there that think like this? Is college really producing that? Or is it just the internet hyping it up? It's hard to tell. I don't really know. And I don't like to make, sweeping generalizations of people without having something to back it up. But the way the world is right now kind of would lead one to believe that maybe it is true. Maybe there are a lot of people that think it's okay for you to freaking cap someone that disagrees with you. That's just silly. And I used to identify as a liberal a long time ago. I mean, I'm 52 now. I identified as a liberal into my early 30s. So, it was still more than half my life that I identified as a liberal. And the thing that I loved about liberalism was this idea of tolerance. It's why I took pride in being a liberal, even if I didn't, I wasn't a card carrying, Clinton devotee or something back in the day. I didn't like him either. He always seemed like kind of a shady dude to me, even back then. First time I could vote, I voted for Ross Perot. Probably wouldn't do that now, but I wouldn't have voted for the Republican either. I probably would have just sat out. But I stopped identifying as a liberal because they drifted away from the tolerance message. I mean, tolerance means there's just going to be people around that you totally disagree with. You may even be just completely disgusted by their points of view, but you got to live with them, dude. You got to live with them because we don't get to enjoy all these freedoms without tolerance. And, I didn't set up this system. I live in it. I didn't set it up. I don't think maybe it's not the best system, but it's the one we live in. And it's not going to last very long if we start killing each other because we have different ideas about things instead of like arguing the ideas or trying to find ways to compromise. Some issues are hard. I don't know what to tell you, like when it comes to the abortion issue or the marriage issue, I'm not willing to compromise on either of those, but I feel like my position is defensible and I don't get mad when I talk to people about it. I just simply tell them, when it comes to the abortion issue, you know, they'll say, "Oh, well, it's okay if it's a clump of cells. You can get rid of that." And it's like, well, I don't know. Even test tube babies started out as a clump of cells, man. And if that's true, then there are no people on the planet who didn't go through that clump of cells stage. And since that's the case, that stage is just as much a part of being a human as puberty and old age. And we should frickin' protect them. The time to make your choice is before that, before you procreate. And that just makes sense to me. It just sounds right. And so I believe that. And on the marriage issue, it's like I got nothing against gay people. If they want to live how they want to live, that's their deal, man. It's between them and God. It has nothing to do with me. You drink some beer real quick. But you've seen everybody there's a lot of people on YouTube talking about demographic collapse and all this. And, when we talk about traditional marriage, it's not because we hate gay people or something. It's because there's this one kind of union between a man and a woman that can produce children. And we need that for the human race to thrive and survive. We need that. And so marriage isn't, having marriage set on a pedestal above other kinds of relationships is because it is different than other kinds of relationships. It's not the same. It's different. It's unique. It can produce children. And if the parents do it right, they raise, productive children that will help our society thrive. But we've been aborting all our kids and having all kinds of weird relationships and all this other stuff. And now you see it. We got demographic collapse. So you tell me, am I wrong? I'm fine talking to people about these things and not getting heated about it. I mean, sometimes I get heated. I guess that happens to everybody. But this is why I don't go on the internet that much anymore. I just find it to be a really stupid place. There's good information on there, but I pretty much have like a couple of sources that I trust, and I try to do a lot of I try to consume a lot of different viewpoints. When I'm on YouTube, I could be watching Jimmy Dore one second and then Tucker Carlson the next. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Because if I am holding to some opinion that's not that sharp or very good, better to find it out by watching the internet and challenging myself internally than to be out talking to a bunch of people and get schooled. But I don't need to blast every thought on the internet anyway. I'm just making this video because I'm wondering if there's other people out there who are like me, who are just like kind of fed up with all the BS, man. I just don't get it. I don't get what's going on in the world. I don't get what's going on in our country. I wish things were different. I wish I knew what to do about it. But I moved way out here to the middle of nowhere after COVID because I could just sense people just not tolerating each other, man. And for whatever reason, COVID just ripped the Band-Aid off of that. Things have gotten progressively worse ever since then. I don't know, I'm kind of rambling, but mostly that's just because I don't really know what to say about what's going on in the world right now. It makes me sad. My favorite movie is Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior. And I love it because it's like a scary movie, but I never thought I'd live to see it come true. Hopefully it doesn't. That would suck for everyone, And, you could say, oh, this country's better, that country's better. Sometimes, we had Joe Biden for the last 4 years. I wasn't rioting or anything. I wasn't trying to kill. I wasn't even thinking about, like, using violence to solve an issue. I don't think that ever really works. Not even in war, man. People say, oh, well, what about World War II? Well, why did World War II start? Let's talk about the people who started the damn thing, not the people who finished it. What was their problem? What about Vietnam? I don't know what it takes to solve all these issues, but if we don't start getting back to what tolerance really is and what the liberals actually used to preach about it back in the day, we're going to have a hard time staying together as a country. And when this breaks apart, man, I don't know. I don't know what the world will look like. Maybe it'll be better, but maybe not. Makes me glad I go to church, though. A lot of peace that comes with that. You know, Jesus didn't say we wouldn't have to suffer, He just showed us how to do it. And that there's something better waiting for us if we just stay the course, stay faithful to Him, stay faithful to the church. I'm good with those things, man. One of the things I love about living way out here in the middle of nowhere is I go to this little tiny parish, man. It's probably like, I mean, I don't know how many people go there. It's very small, though. The chapel at my work is bigger than the church I go to, which is crazy to me. But I know everybody at the church, you know, and I can connect. And I think that's what we're losing. People spending all their time on the internet, and I work in the internet. You know, it's so weird. It's a weird thing to tell people. It's like, I think you should use the internet less. I do. I used to use it all the time. I cut that down to like 2/3, but hardly ever post anymore. You know, and when I do, it's usually just pictures of a sunset or like my dogs or a hamburger I just ate. Not that I don't have things to say. I mean, I'm saying it right now, but I'm kind of selective about when and where. I don't know. I got friends on both sides of the aisle, and it just makes me sad what's going on in the country right now. And I'll be praying every single day that we find a way to right this and find ways to live together, find ways to compromise. I don't know. I don't know what the alternative is. I can't even imagine the alternative. I don't know if I want to. So for now, I'm just going to stay grounded in the Lord and go where He asks me to. I hope you guys do that too. If you don't have Him, I hope you'll consider having Him, inviting Him into your world. You know, might make a difference. You know, couldn't hurt to just take a look at it, maybe give it a real investigation. Because Jesus wouldn't be down with any of this stuff that's going on right now. No way. Anyway, love y'all. Peace out.